Hey, I'm Zainab. Where's Mia?
I'm here. Don't worry. I called up a bunch of friends and I pulled some strings, and they're going to be replacing me for a few episodes on the podcast.
Oh my God, Mia, not again. Hey, I'm Zainab.
And I'm Zouz.
And welcome to another episode of Sprinkles and Spice.
And is sharing caring or scaring?
A lot of times I think it is scaring, honestly.
You do?
I think so.
Depends. What are we sharing?
True. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, dictatorship communism might be a little scaring.
Well, definitely. Yeah. I believe most people would agree on that.
Yeah. But like your toys, your friends.
Food, puffs. I'm not sharing my puffs.
You don't share your puffs?
I'm not sharing my puffs.
That's
That's why we both have a bag. We each have a bag. Because I'm not sharing my puffs with you, Zeus.
Okay. So the question. wait. How do you and I know each other?
How do we know each other?
From friends.
Do we? Yeah, we do.
You've had Faye here multiple times.
Yes, we have.
That's how I know you.
Actually,
I know you from Faye,
Menayer.
Nai, like that group.
Yeah. We have a group of friends.
Yeah.
And we met through a group of friends.
And people don't know how much Zainab and I have in common.
Yeah, actually, and I love that.
And no one will ever know.
Well, now we just exposed ourselves.
No, but they can't guess.
You'll never know.
You can't guess what the crossing is.
There's so much though. Like, every time we sit together and we chat, and I'm like, I never thought I would relate to Zouz this much.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Both emotionally and like no one would ever look at you and me and guess that we had the same teenage phases.
By teenage phases, are you talking about like an emo phase?
Zainab, look at us. We both listen to metal. Who would ever like?
I know.
Yeah. But okay. So about sharing friends.
Yes.
The first question that comes to mind is if I Ali. Okay. The first question that comes to mind is whether or not you're okay with sharing your friends is, do you own your friends or not? And that's illegal, Zainab.
You don't own people.
You don't own people. That has been abolished.
Yeah, as far as we know.
It's debatable, but legally it's been abolished. Yeah.
Anyways, I do agree. Like, you don't own people. But it's a lot more nuanced. Internet's favorite word.
It's nuanced.
But it is very nuanced. You know what I mean? Like, why it's such different situations. But the gist of it, yes, you don't own people. And I feel like a lot of times people feel like this sense of ownership towards their friends. And that's why, like, when you introduce friends to your other friends, like, it's تبلش مشاكل a lot of times.
Okay. تبلش مشاكل, or like whether or not it turns out well, it's not something under your control. Like, people network, people socialize.
Yeah.
Has something ever happened? Do you have a story?
Yes, I have so many stories. I feel like it's very common in our culture. And I feel like a lot of people are split. I'm the kind of person I don't mind introducing friends to friends. But like, if I have a friend and I introduce her or him to another friend and they hit it off and they start hanging out, sure. But it has to be done with respect and in a way where I'm not being left out or third wheeling my own friendships like so soon. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I introduce you guys and then a week in, you're making plans together without me.
So there's a FOMO thing happening.
There is a FOMO thing. But at the same time, I guess it's a little bit about respect as well.
ما تحسين إنه وفقتي راسين بالحلال?
And yes, if it happened gradually, بس in a week فجأة, like, أنا توني معرفتكم على بعض and قاعد تطلعون وتسوون plans without me مداكم. Don't you think?
I feel like there's a lot more like things between the lines when it comes to the history and the lore of each person.
Yeah.
I mean, if this person
The
has
lore
been,
goes deep.
the lore goes deep. I mean, if someone has been like kind of neglecting you and ignoring you, and then suddenly they have moved on with another person, like I feel like that's a separate issue
Yeah.
from introducing them to a new friend. I feel like using the whole "I've introduced you to a new friend" is kind of scapegoating the deeper issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
يعني أحس there has to be a little bit of a sensitivity to the middle person who's introduced, and it depends on the closeness and the dynamic. يعني مثلا if I'm super close to one of them but I'm also super close to the, like, you know what I mean?
I do.
يعني أحس في ذوق when it comes to these situations. Like I don't mind, let's say a year in they get super close and then they start making plans together وخلاص they've like gotten to know each other and they realize there's so many things in common and they've developed their own dynamic. بالعكس هني اللي I'm like وفقت راسين بالحلال.
Yeah, okay, but like there's so much at play. Like even with any group of friends who've been friends for a really long time,
Yeah.
there's always these dynamics and there's always these things that are unsaid. Like I'm a part of a very close knit type of group of
Yeah.
friends, and we all have our micro toxicities.
Yeah.
Hashtag that.
Microtoxicity. It's a mouthful شوية.
It is. It is. Zain, but like if my whole group of friends decided to go on a trip and not tell me and then they're posting about it, that's
No,
mean.
that's very mean.
That's mean. That's not.
Has that ever happened to you?
No, but I have nightmares. Like everyone has.
It's like an irrational fear that you
because I'm the kind of person where if I introduce two people together and then they become friends, for me, it's not quite good riddance, but it's like less weight on me, like less social weight. Like, yes, be busy together.
Oh.
A little bit.
Okay.
But that's just like because of the kind of person
Do you
I
have
am.
needy friends?
I'm a mothering person. I will take
Okay,
responsibility
yeah.
for that. So when friends are like finding each other at different needs, so I feel like there's less corners for me to tend to.
So is that a dynamic you tend to fall into where it's like hierarchical shui, your mother figure a bit?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you need to work on that.
I know. I'm an older sister.
Oh, صح. I always
Yeah.
forget that. It really is like an older sister thing where you feel the need to mother everyone, even your own siblings. My sister's like that. And I'm like, I have a mother and she's your mother too. You're not my mother.
But here's the thing. I'm really good at it.
Yeah.
So people lean into that more.
Yeah.
Which is, that's something I have to work on. But when it comes to friends,
Yeah.
like روحوا لاقوا بعض.
Do you tend to attract people who have mommy issues?
Yes, Zainab. I
I'm
really
sitting-
do.
I brought you here to psychoanalyze you. Not to go.
We're not. Zouz, today we're talking about people owning people. Have you ever been owned?
Also, I do want to say thank you for coming on to help me with this episode. Even though we're like 10 minutes into the conversation,
Great, it's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, I'm really grateful for you.
I'm
helping
happy
me
to
out
be
since
here.
Mia cannot be here.
I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah,
honestly.
Mia went to buy tuna and never came back. So I had to bring Zeus.
Zouz yet.
Mia, I hope you found tuna and good tuna somewhere in the world, wherever you are.
Bring good tuna if you're gone for that long. I mean, we're not gonna accept
where do they have good tuna?
in Italy.
Oh,
Don't they?
okay. Maybe she's in Italy.
They have
If
nice
anyone's
packaging.
in Italy, check on Mia.
In Italy.
In Italy.
The entirety of Italy.
Wherever she is. Anyways, back to the topic. So yeah, we were talking about
Friends
friends.
being friends with other friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a lot of friends who are not okay with me being friends with their friends.
Mm.
And you know what I do?
What?
I make time in my day to be friends with their other friends. Because you need to learn. That's how life works. You
And
can't
so you're
control
like,
things.
I'm gonna take it on myself to teach them a lesson.
No, because life happens in ways that we can't control.
Yeah. But
And-
that's how you and I met. We met through friends.
Yes.
But because our group dynamic is very different. يعني أحس we kind of get that in a way, or I don't know. You and I also, it was a slow burn. Like it didn't.
It takes a lot of digging for you and I to find things in common. And then once you do,
Yeah.
it glitters.
لا بس يعني I'm trying to remember like when we first started hanging out. I don't remember. Like I remember I would see you around Menayer's Gergian,
Manaris Girgian, and then phase gatherings.
phase gatherings.
And then we just have like small conversations. You're like, oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know you were like this. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with that group, it makes sense because like there are sub dynamics. So you're bound to create more sub dynamics by bringing new people into the group.
And you know how sometimes when you enter a group, even like if you're watching a reality show and you see someone walk in, you have a prediction like this person will definitely hit it off with that person because they have this in common. They have this kind of pattern. And then something completely unexpected happens. And I don't think anyone in the group as well expected that I would be such close friends with Faye. Like we travel together, we do road trips, and we have like almost perfect synergy.
Wait, you met Faye through Manayir or through like just the group?
With Manayir, but I started hanging out with them because of Nai.
And you and Nai had met?
Yeah, like professionally.
Okay.
But I've known Nai on Twitter for years, and I didn't know what she looked like.
Yeah, you just knew.
Just like
there's this girl named Nai.
Yeah, we just used to like joke together. But then I met her in a professional setting, and Faye worked there as well. And Manayir I knew also from professional settings. And then Nai invited me over, and they were there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay. And then it became a regular thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to hear something funny? You know that I met Manayir through my sister.
Right.
And Manayir and my sister are actually really close, and they still are.
Yeah.
And they have their own kind of relationship. And then I got close to Manayir, and I have a very completely different relationship with Manayir.
Right.
And I have like a different group of friends with Manayir. So that to me is normal. يعني حتى my sister مثلا ما يصير فيها إنه أو رفيجتي, why are you like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because we also ended up working at the same place, the same agency. But initially Manayir was Fatma's friend.
Right.
And they're really close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like
and then
Fatma.
yeah. And then me and Manayir got close, and then we kind of, created our group of friends.
Right.
And Adi, Fatma's not always part of that. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, rarely. You know what I mean? بس عادي يعني, I guess it's fine.
So I asked this question on my Instagram, and we got some really interesting responses. So speaking of your sister, you sharing friends with your sister, I asked if people are okay with mixing friends or introducing friends to friends, or if they're okay with, people from different friend groups being friends together separately. And the answers are on the entire spectrum of answers, but they're mostly very extreme.
Yeah.
We got them both. No one walks out on me.
No, I love that there was the assumption that they're both gonna walk out.
They're gonna walk out on me.
Walk out.
وبعدين اتخلط علي دي ام تقول لي I know this is toxic but I'm gonna do it. Like, I am full awareness.
I love people who own up to their toxicity. They're like, I'm toxic and I'm committing to it. You know what I mean?
Also, I don't like half crazy. If you're not gonna do full throttle crazy, then you're not crazy.
Then you're not crazy.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go crazy, go full force crazy.
Yeah, let me at least, have you ever been lied to by a psychopath? You go home and you're like, I kind of appreciate that. Because when someone gives you like a half-assed lie,
I
you're
don't
like,
know if appreciate.
No, because I have basic human intelligence. Don't insult that with a bad lie.
Yeah.
Give me theater. Give me production. For me to go home and be like, wow, this person is sick, but well done.
You appreciate the commitment.
I appreciate the like going all the way. No looking back.
Okay. Got it. Noted.
I mean, if we're in a sick world, let it be colorful.
So did you feel like the answers were like extreme? Were they split? Well, were there some people in the middle?
I didn't see a lot of people in the middle, but the people that are in the middle, I kind of related to. I got one answer that's like, why is that a topic?
Yeah.
Because it's a normal thing to happen. I'm sorry. Why is that an issue? Why is that something we need to ask about?
I mean, they're not wrong. But they must have been really loved as a child. and they were probably like healthy. Like,
did your parents love you?
You were hugged a lot.
You were,
probably.
yeah. Someone gave you love. No one walked out on you. Yeah. I'm sorry. Pain is funny. Okay. Speaking of pain is funny. This answer is very confusing to me because I feel like it depends on the facial expression of the person writing
Okay.
it. I think my best friend likes my sister more than she likes me.
And what's the expression?
خير كذي. I think هذا يكسر الخاطر.
Eh.
But if it was like
I feel like it's more like like
you feel like
I think,
كذي?
yeah, it has
No,
to
I
be-
feel like this is something that she didn't say to anyone else and she's insecure
she's
about
saying
it.
it too.
Yeah.
That
And I feel like
hurts,
she's
though.
like trying to act a bit like her sister to be liked more.
Yeah.
Which is
I want to know more, like who's older and like where is she? Like is the sister older, younger? Does she have other sisters?
we don't know if they're older or younger,
I know.
but we know they're cooler.
Ah,
I know. I'm sorry.
yeah. That's the worst. As when your friends like your sister more. It's fine sometimes where I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I guess my sister is cool. But ساعات اللي يصير فيك إنه like, but like I'm her sister too. Like I'm just as cool as she is.
Do you know what's really insane is like communication can solve so many things. My sister, who's Jinan, the funniest person I've ever known in my life. People don't know how funny she is. One time told me that, oh yeah, of course people like me because I'm cool. Like she's proud to like tell people that I'm her sister. And I was like, I think you're cooler. I'm like, that's all you needed is to have a conversation with your sister.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Yeah. Also, like, يعني, look, at the end of the day, like, I know I'm being toxic about it, but بالعكس, يعني, I like when my friends get along with my sister and I enjoy it. And يعني حتى ساعات مثلا Mia would come over and she would hang out with Fatma and I would let them, just, especially when they start bonding over things.
I would let them.
Yeah, just let them.
They're both off of
Yeah.
their leashes.
They're because I control them. You know?
قط عليهم treats.
يلا قعدوا يلا شطار عافية عليكم.
يحبون بعض.
شوفوا قاعدين
نسوي حساب فاطمة ومية.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, I love those moments. A lot of times, like, when I see them bonding, like, I don't try to insert myself in the conversation. أنا موجودة. Like, مرة أصلا قاعدين يسولفون وشي يصير فيني وين قاعدون تسولفوا أنا بروح أخلص شغلي. And I left them in the room.
See? That's what I'm saying. Less weight off you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's fine. I get it. But as in this situation, it goes deep. I feel like there's a lot that's unsaid.
That's unsaid between the sisters.
Oh.
I mean, also if your friends, you know, like someone who you think is cooler, I'm assuming that's the situation. Maybe your friends, you need a conversation with your friends as well.
Yeah.
You know, you're
Like,
valuable, you're loved.
Yeah.
That's why you have friends.
Like, are you friends with me because you like me or because you like my sister and you're trying to be friends with my sister?
One person is like, I'm usually the side party, not the buffer. Nothing worse than when the buffer leaves the party. So the buffer is the person who introduced the two people. So they
And
have to
they're-
be there for a while until these two people are friends.
Okay.
So this person is like, they're never the buffer. They're always the person who's being introduced,
Oh.
which is an interesting take to be the person introduced.
But you know, that also is quite a red flag for me because I don't
لا.
like red flag.
Red flag. عشان somebody.
أقول لك ليش؟
ليش؟
لأن she said or they said and I'm always the side party. So the language that they used out about the shit تعمقت فيها.
Give me.
The side party makes it seem like I am the life of the party and my shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, the choice of words for me.
Interesting.
And then on top of that, to me, if you're constantly being introduced, at some point, why are you not introducing? Like, I don't like when people gatekeep their friends, but you're constantly introducing them to your friends. أحس لازم يصير في at some point a balance where we're, especially like the closer we get, yeah, I'm going to introduce you to people that I think you're going to get along with. Don't you think?
But actually that is showing me a newer red flag, which is maybe this person doesn't have any friends. Maybe this person is always being introduced like,
Yeah.
ما كنا sleep.
Sorry, whoever sent that submission, but
ما فينا sleep. ما فينا sleep. And then a lot of people are answering about like, sometimes you introduce the wrong friends to each other. those worlds start imploding.
Oh.
So people, like especially people who host parties,
Yeah.
you should know who gets along with whom. Like I know that assigning people at tables is an art that needs so much knowledge of the history of the friends or the family or these people. بس يعني,
you have to have historical data.
but look, like, I'm not. There are friends that I wouldn't put with other friends because as simple as they listen to very different types of music. مثلا, if someone plays that, you know, I'm not gonna put Zouz Al-Mahdi مع chaperone. يعني في, unless I'm sure. I'm sure there's an overlap. I'm sure there's a Venn diagram somewhere.
I'm sure there is. I know there is somewhere.
Pink pony shisha. Guess what? Those examples came a little too quickly for me.
They did. I don't know how you came up with that. But really, I would pay money to see Chaperone and Zouz Al-Mahdi at the same table.
That's the Amr Sulaiman Bjork kind of collab. That happened.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Bjork and Amr Sulaiman did a collab.
When?
A long time ago. I think it was 2011 or.
Oh wow.
Yeah, not
interesting.
Yeah. It was really bad. Omar Sulaiman came to Iceland. I love his music. The Bedouins and the Inuits are very similar.
You did a very good Bjork impression.
I have nothing else. That's all I have.
And then,
okay.
So you were saying it's kind of like putting Zouz Al-Mahdi with Chaperone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to put two groups of friends that I know for a fact won't get along. That's just socially unintelligent.
Won't get along because they don't have things in common and also like personality. I mean, you know that friend اللي ما تسكت لسانها طويل?
Yeah.
Like ما رح تحطينها in a table or in a room with another friend نفس الشيء لأن you know they're gonna يتلاكشون.
Yeah. And like in context, like I know this friend اللي لسانها طويل. I know she's kind. She's been there for me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's an example. بس يعني another friend would understand it as هذه قليلة أدب. She needs to be put. So like there are things that are not about introducing friends to each other, but about like arranging a social setting in an intelligent way. So I feel like that's also outside of the question.
Yeah.
But this to me, this answer is an insane red flag. ما أحب لأن كل جروب يعرفون جانب من شخصيتي فلما يختلطون أحس الحين أصير أي نسخة مني. أنا أتوقع المشكلة فيني بس حالياً قاعدة أوري شنو؟ أوحد شخصيتي. But I do gatekeep my friends. Like 3 points of red flags. The first one is I'm different people.
Like the masks, doesn't that get tiring?
You can't have masks, like you have a mask with your family and a mask with your friends just to like maintain the peace, but it's not like a moonlighting with another group of friends.
يعني كل جروب شخصية.
وخاف. They compare notes. That's called triangulation.
Yeah. I don't know what that is, but sure.
Triangulation is when it's a very evil thing that a lot of people who are unwell do.
Okay.
Say for instance, أنا أروح حق طارق and I tell him things about you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I don't want you to be in the same place so you don't compare notes, which is...
Like, I had a friend who would do, ex-friend, she would put everyone in a corner and like play her games in the middle. So she would like come to مثلا أنا أعيش زوز وأقول تخيل طارق said this and this and this about you. And then you would be like, طارق خليه يسكت. Oh, I'd go to Tariq and be like, Zouz said this and this and this about you.
Yeah.
And like everyone's in a corner and تسوي مشاكل.
I've honestly developed an entire language study system just based on getting these people caught. If someone tells you a salfa and if that salfa exceeds 3 lines, this person logically has been okay with everything that's been said about you.
Yeah.
So if I come to you and I'm like, Tariq said this about you, and then 3 more lines, you're like, how was he comfortable enough to say this much about me to you? What face were you giving? Were you agreeing? Ba-da-da!
Wow.
Jacques!
Real, yes.
Yeah, been through it بزيادة.
Yeah.
Been through it بزيادة, like, yeah. And it's people pleasers that do it the most. It's, you know, people who care about their social image.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see that. And then back to
the things.
that person.
Back to that person.
Yeah, give us
and then
the other 2 points.
the other
red
2
flags.
points is قاعدة أوحد شخصيتي تقريبا.
تقريبا.
Like you're still trying to be one human and you're failing. That's like, we know that.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to be one human when you can be a multifaceted person?
That's the thing that people don't understand. And multifaceted doesn't mean that you need to have a different personality with different people.
Yeah.
Also, that sounds exhausting.
It's really tiring. What are you do you have hobbies? What are you doing? How are you keeping yourself busy? Like, is that what you think about every day? Like how
Yeah.
you were seen and how you portray?
Why do you think people feel the need to do that though?
Because have a
ماك
lot of
شخصية؟
I think there's a wrong understanding of being valuable socially. So you have to be a certain way, and as opposed to develop the good parts in you.
Yeah.
So for instance, I know that I'm socially awkward.
Yeah.
You know that very well about me. One time I came up to Zainab and I was like, was I normal weird or weird weird? She said, normal weird. That's why she's my friend.
Like the regular zoo is weird.
Yeah. So but I also know that I'm funny and I know interesting things.
Yeah.
So I just do those.
The thing is, your weird is very charming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I worked on the funny bits instead of sweating bricks every time I'm in a group.
Plus, you owned your weird.
I owned it because like I'm really socially awkward. Like you should see me at the gym because I don't have filters in the morning, and I'm like, don't look at me. One time I was using a machine, not one time, a lot of times, and someone would use it because they don't know someone's using it.
Hey.
I move on.
No,
I'm not gonna talk to anyone. I can't, Zainab. I can't in the morning.
Really?
I can't talk to people.
It's like I still haven't had my coffee. I still haven't meditated.
Every time I see people who only know me from the gym, and I'd be like, راح ينصرعون إذا دروا I do stand-up comedy. This weirdo doesn't talk
They're
to
like
anyone.
this.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is you can work on the things that you know you're good at, and then you will be a person. Like, I promise you're going to be a person, and the people that find you and love you are going to be very true to you because that's just who you are. And
and also, like, I would much rather be myself and meet people who appreciate me and love me for myself rather than being a chameleon and changing my personality based on who I'm hanging out with. That's also somewhat manipulative.
It's entirely manipulative, even if you do it for بين قوسين, good intentions. You're still going out of your way to make something difficult. Like, I understand why lying exists to humans, why we're wired to lie, and it comes from some type of empathy in order to get you out of trouble.
Yeah.
But people who lie to create trouble, that is a whole other rewiring of like where we've evolved as a people.
Yeah.
In order to succeed in any way, like socially or capitalism does this.
She's like, okay, never mind. ما رح نخلص if we talk about capitalism.
This is Menayer.
Wait, they're not anonymous?
لا بس Menayer is
بس
not
Menayer.
Hey. Menayer went and came back. Okay? Why صارت وياي? I love it. And because like that's we've seen examples. You just talked about one, and then she goes either way. No. She leaves, and then an hour later she's like, okay, رديت, because I was confused. Is the drama because the mediator gets jealous وتصير سوالف, or drama because في some من group A don't like group B, but mediator keeps doing it? Either way, it's not that deep. The one angry just needs a hug. ما صار شيء. I love Menayer.
Yeah, but I love that she talked about both situations because both are actually quite common. In Naysir, the mediator gets jealous, and then also the different groups or friends don't like each other. It's both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah يعني أحس ساعات the mediator ياكلها لأن they're excited about introducing friends to other friends and then it doesn't work out.
And then they're the ones to blame.
Not يعني I mean honestly if the friends blame the mediator then they're just
Not taking
assholes
responsibility
صراحة
بعد.
يعني they're not taking responsibility and also like يعني حرام the mediator wanted to do something nice it just didn't work out that's fine. Don't make it worse by just telling them, oh, like, why did you introduce us to that person or why did you put us in that situation? But at the same time, it's also disappointing because I feel like I've been in this situation where it's like, damn, like I really wish this would work. Like it would make it a lot easier, first of all, to merge these friend groups.
Yeah.
But خلاص, it didn't work. It didn't work. So then when they're both kind of in the same setting or same room together, you kind of have to learn how to maneuver it in a more civil way. If it puts more effort on the mediator.
صح. But also this, I don't know, there's another side of it where if a relationship does work out, the mediator wants to take credit sometimes. And for me, this is equally, you know, just bullshit because these people worked on a friendship that's separate. That's their work. They should also be given responsibility and credit for that, just as they should take responsibility if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing مثلا بالزواج. If you introduce two people together and then they get married, you shouldn't be thanked for that. They're the ones that worked on a relationship and got married, and marriage is difficult. So like, ليش نشكر يعني, just as you shouldn't be blamed, you shouldn't be given credit, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yani, okay, great. Thank you. And you introduced two people together to each other. But at the end of the day, there are so many check points or checklists
that they worked
things on the checklist that they worked on like أول شيء the attraction, the chemistry, and then you know, like building that connection and then seeing if they can actually build a relationship together. فأنت مالك شغل, like you did step A, like, or actually it's not even step A, it's like a pre-step, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. خصوصا إذا مثلا إذا تهاوشوا because people fight, and then the way they present themselves in a fight, which really shows you the kind of person they are and what they would tell you as the previous friend or mediator or whatever. It's like all of these things fall into the lore of who you are as a couple or as friends. It has nothing to do with how it started. I kind of couldn't give a shit.
Yeah. And then I remember you mentioned like that if it doesn't work out, the person that introduced them also gets blamed. Like, oh, you introduced me to that person, انتوا عرفتوني, or انت عرفتيني على هالشخص وكلها منك.
Yeah.
And it also like strips them from the accountability that no, maybe you didn't know how to suss that person out, or your judgment was clouded. And أنا مالي شغل.
I didn't see that side of them.
I didn't see that side of them because I don't have that dynamic with them.
Yeah. And I didn't poison you.
Yeah.
I introduced you to a person that I thought was sane. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Maybe the person is sane. They just didn't get along.
Yeah.
عادي تصير يعني.
Honestly, حتى if they're insane, like it's not still not.
Yeah, it's still not a deal
I might
breaker.
feel guilty. I might feel guilty, but it's still not my fault.
You're like, I'll still be friends with them, but you can choose not to.
This is my favorite submission. The veiled hands of fate at play. I see it, I welcome it, and I enjoy it. That is beautiful.
You love that.
Yes, I really do.
Was that
really
you?
do.
Okay, what's that?
رايح من account ثاني مجاوب على نفسي. Smart.
She's like my favorite submission. Zouz from another phone.
وصير صغيرة ما أدري ليش.
Like mini Zouz.
ليش مني زوز حقيرة أكثر؟ Story time. Feed story time.
Yes, of course.
My narcissistic sister used this tactic as a weapon to control my social narratives and gaslight. Her goal in life was to literally befriend my friends and get so close to them until the friendship dissipated, and then discard them herself until she needed to use them again against me. Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
If that's not like the worst extreme case of that question.
Yeah. Also, like having a narcissistic sibling, that on its own is traumatizing.
Yeah.
And then having them also meddle in your friend groups.
Yeah.
And you see them like using and abusing your friends and discarding them. وقاعدة تخرب بينك وبين your friends.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that's like layers of trauma.
I can't even like I have an opinion about this topic, but if I was in that person's shoes, I don't know what I would feel given,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, first of all, يعني, isn't there like the what is it, the gray rock method with
I don't know
narcissists?
what that is.
It's basically like you do not engage with them, you
Mm.
don't show them emotion because I think a lot of times narcissists they feed off of getting reactions
Yeah.
out of you.
Mm.
So you have to gray rock them. Like whenever they try to manipulate or gaslight, like let's say, for example, I don't know, in this situation, she'd be like, oh, you never مثلا introduce me to your friends, or why are you being so dramatic? يعني ترى عادي and I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm
Mm.
just assuming مثلا.
Yeah.
You kind of just gray rock them and be like, I don't understand what you want from me. I don't know. يعني, you know what I mean?
So like to be neutral?
To be very neutral with them and then you don't provoke them, but you
But you don't
don't
give them.
react, but you don't give them. You gray
Mm.
rock them.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think that's what it's called.
My way of handling that is to get a fake ID and move, change all my numbers, dye my hair.
I don't know.
Go to the armpit of the planet and
No,
disappear.
ليش?
No, I'm just saying, like, because I usually just,
you don't
that's my unhealthy trait
confront.
is I freeze, back out, disappear.
Yeah, so you're
Voilà.
definitely on the flight part.
I'm on the تعرفين السكرين سيفر الثابتة like
إيه.
a cardboard cutout of me. شي وراها أنا. أروح.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on now
Yeah.
to communicate.
Yeah.
with
No,
people.
يعني in this situation, at some point, you first of all have to stop introducing your friends to your sister. But we don't know, like maybe the sister goes out of her way to like, because I know there are people who are that psychotically. أنا أشوف مثلا, oh, you're hanging out with this new girl. I will find any way possible to get to that new girl and get to her, especially
Right.
narcissists.
Yeah.
Because narcissists are very charming as well.
They are. So
In the beginning,
yeah,
مبدئيا,
it's-
aren't they?
I mean, they are. But like, I used to say this thing where, because I've been like triangulated with friends of mine that have completely like left me because of something they heard about me. So I used to say the trash is taking itself out. If you're going to believe this thing about me without checking with me, then that's just on you. I used to genuinely say that until I became very close with a covert narcissist. And I don't know if you've ever, it's really tough for people to not believe them, because they're not only charming, they are not your typical narcissist who is obviously someone who cares about how they look and wants to be loved. There are people who usually work in philanthropy. There are people who are very giving. They're very soft-spoken. They're very kind. Like that's the brand. But they drain the people that are closest to them, like their partners, their best friends, and their children especially. So for years, people didn't believe me when I would say, this person does this and this and that. People are like, there's no way this person is the kindest human we've ever met. So it's a very confusing place to be. And it's really tough to just say, oh, the trash is taking itself out, because I cannot blame my friends for believing the testimony.
Yeah.
Shahadat al-zur.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
so you've forgiven those friends who believed things about you?
Yeah, because I also know that that I'm not the only victim of that person. Like she's also friends with them as well. So it's just and I know, like after going into like a deep rabbit hole situation, there was a lot that I was able to connect with that person's history, especially, and narcissism in general, which is like narcissism is, I think, the only personality disorder that's developed as a child. Like it's not exactly genetic, as far as I know. I'm not really sure. I'm not an expert, but it's basically children whose family, whose parents cared about what they looked like their accolades and how well they did at school and how good they look and what kind of reputation they brought to their family.
Like a show pony.
Like a show pony. But they didn't care about their emotional development. So they didn't really, like, their child would be depressed, but they're like, so long as they look good in front of people.
Surface level.
Which is basically our culture of شنو بيقولون عنا الناس. So it doesn't matter if our kid is depressed, if they're not developing emotionally, psychologically. So as long as they look good to the neighbors as long as الأهل قاعد يشوفونهم تمام.
Yeah.
You know, يكبر يحصل وظيفة بنك يصير شكله يعني
Yeah.
قطرة ويخطب عادي.
But that's the thing, like a lot of times or recently we've been hearing this word thrown around. Like you meet people and they're like, oh, this person's a narcissist, this person's a narcissist. Like, especially in the past, I think like 3-4 years, I've heard that word thrown around in our culture or in our society so much. اللي I really genuinely do believe that we have a problem with narcissistic behavior.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if مثلا they actually have the disorder or they're just showing, exuding narcissistic behavior. Because I think sometimes you can have narcissistic behavior without being a narcissist. I don't know. I'm not an expert,
If you can just boil it down to this person, because people think that narcissism is someone loving themselves or caring about themselves more, but it's basically someone who cares about their image way more than anything else, even about themselves, because that's what's familiar to them is the way they seem to other people. So they get obsessed with how they are seen. So it's very important to them that they are loved, but they can never love themselves.
Yeah.
So it's all about their reflection. It's not about who they are. And I think that's why it affects also like the issue of friends, you know, your friends being friends together and how you are with this group and how you are. So like your idea of how you're being seen is the issue.
Yeah.
So you are, you know, showing narcissistic behavior. You don't have to be a narcissist pathologically, but you are showing traits, just that you can show traits from different personality disorders and you not really, you know,
have them.
Like you don't have to be a person who needs medication for OCD, but you can show, you know, different types of control issues or hoarding or, you know, tendencies. So it's like you can have the nishla of narcissism. You don't have to, you know, be hospitalized for it.
Yeah. There are also different types of narcissism. You know, like I recently found out that victim mentality is a form of narcissism. Like people who are constantly like, I'm a victim, or they're always like coming to you with problems, with issues. They always seem to be sad. And so their way of getting attention is through getting sympathy and being a victim. And that's actually a type of narcissism.
And the problem is they usually are victims. It's not like they're lying.
They victimize themselves.
Okay, you victimize yourself later. I know that that's how it started. And I know that like إحنا بالعالم العربي, you're either a narcissist or you're a victim of the narcissist or both. You're not neither. You know? So if you are a victim, you're not safe from being a narcissist yourself. It's not just hurt people.
You're probably a victim of a bigger narcissist.
بالضبط. You are just like part of الأمة النرجسية, like مع بعض. So it's not just hurt people. It's basic math. Like that's how what's familiar to you. And that is like, والله احنا لو نصدر نرجسية مع النفط.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. Like حتى like as simple as going out, driving. Everybody thinks that they're more important. Their time is more valuable than yours. And they're entitled to the things like on the roads. Like you see how people
لأن هو شرى البورش in order to be seen driving a Porsche. هو لما شرى البورش شرى الحارة معاه مسجلة.
هم like at the malls, like walking around, like the way you see people act, like أحس a lot of it is
display, exhibitionistic. حتى مثلا people who go to I don't know. I wish I could say we have theater to be like, oh, we're Victorian. We go to theater to be seen going to the theater. But success is more measured on how famous you are for being successful.
Yeah.
People who are actually successful in the game of whatever it is don't show their face. They barely talk to anyone. They're not really show.
Yeah.
So if you look a certain way and if you're wearing that watch and if you're doing all of these things just so you would look rich and successful, because that's how success works, you're just obsessing over what you look like. It's not really about you doing well. Yeah. So I don't know.
And that's how it is on social media. Like nowadays, like your Instagram page has kind of become like your CV. Like especially if you're specialized in a field.
Yeah.
And it's become your CV. So a lot of times people will promote themselves in a certain field. And they would look the part, but when you go to them, you'll realize they're not actually successful. They act like they are successful, and therefore like they're getting success because people say that they're falling for it.
Yeah, even when it comes to like people that don't necessarily have a certificate for something, this happens with life coaching here, not in general. Like I know there's mentoring and life coaches, that's a legit thing. And I do know that everyone needs it at a certain capacity. But people here measure that type of success and how good a person is based on the number of followers they have or the engagement. Which is like a different game. Marketing is a very different game. Like I can be a great artist or a great writer and really bad at marketing myself. But an interesting thing about life coaches is that since we have a lot of people who are, you know, victims of narcissism or narcissists themselves, so we have a really high need for psychological rehabilitation.
Yeah.
But given, you know, our culture, I'm not familiar with abroad and how people in their homes speak to their kids in Europe or the US, but we do have this remaining stigma about getting psychological, like getting help, getting psychiatric help.
Yeah.
Or getting medicated. So you have people that need it, and then you have a stigma that forbids them from going. So then you have a place where you can take that opportunity and become the person that heals without that name. You know, so you can be a life coach. So I think that's why being a life coach is such a big thing here, because you can't go to a therapist, you can go to a life coach. There isn't a stigma about it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because if life coaches as a success, like, you know, is measured by the number of followers, so it's measured by how they're seen. So mainly from what I see, it's a lot of narcissists that gravitate towards being life coaches.
Yeah.
So it's narcissists that become life coaches and victims of narcissism going to those people to get help, which in marketing terms is called creating the demand for your supply.
Oh, wow. Because
I was preparing for a joke and your face was like, oh my God, that's so true. That's so true. And I'm like, the Freemasonry. Like, aliens. Life coaches are narcissistic.
Basically, in conclusion, aliens.
But seriously, like I see this happen all the time, and my cousin is a life coach. I don't know if you know her, Fatima Al-Gatlan. And
She sounds familiar.
she's really good. She's actually really, really good. Like if you see her, I've known her since we were children, and I have seen this person work on herself since we were kids, and she is the person who's the least afraid to say that she's wrong. So to me, that's like green flags all around. Like I see how you are with your kids, I see how you are with your family. So it's really tough to find a good one out there.
Yeah, I do feel like a lot of times people who are like, oh, listen to me, like I have advice. I know someone like that. And a lot of times it's shameless self-promotion. Like they're giving you advice in a way where they're promoting themselves and putting themselves in the center. And I'm like, how did you manage to make this about you? Yeah. Like this was supposed to be you helping me, but somehow you're making this about you. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know a person. I'll tell you her name later. She had just gotten a certificate at the time. She'd just gotten a certificate to be a life coach. And she just decided to give me advice one time. We were just like at a social gathering. And then after the social gathering, she sends me a receipt, like a bill.
What?
She billed me. Wallah.
كيفها?
And then after the bill, there was another PDF with her services.
What?
Oh, by the way, her life is in shambles. And I don't believe in
Did you pay?
No. على الادفايس عاد شنو سمعتني. She just decided to give me advice. من كيفها.
Unsolicited advice and then you bill them.
Why am I not doing that?
Honestly, I'm thinking of it. I'm like, that sounds like a good business model.
Yeah.
I just walk, because people ask me for advice. So next time someone asks me for advice, I'm going to give them advice and then I'm going to bill them.
Yeah. My sister, whom, yani, one time I was just like, she and I were hanging out, and then I gave her a piece of advice. And then she said, Zouz, you should be a life coach. And then I said, I'm being your sister. Have people forgotten what human exchange is?
Yes, they have.
Basic human exchange. You don't have to like, I speak you money. I know. بعدين أنا لما أبيع رسمة أنت ما يمشيك إلا الفلوس. Let's work. I worked. set your values clearly, please.
Oh, anyways,
Yeah.
we need to get into our hot or rot.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, you guys, we're going to
Yeah.
play a rapid fire round of hot or rot. I'm going to read out some statements. Well, we're going to read out some statements to each other, and we're going to figure out if they're hot, we like them, rot, we hate them. They
Okay.
should die.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Do you want to start or should I start?
انت انا اقول اللي بعدك.
Yeah, I'll start.
يلا.
Introducing two friends and then regretting it. Hot or rot?
Right.
Okay.
شكو. They should die.
They should die.
Ugh.
Rotten hell.
No. Let's make this politically correct. They should
Yeah.
be unalived.
Also.
Okay. Is that okay? Feeling jealous when your two friends get closer.
Hot.
مستعدة hot يسع يا شوي.
Look, I told you this. I have a Scorpio moon. I get possessive out of my friends. But I eventually get over it.
Scorpio face, Zainab.
This is why you and I get along. That's too funny. I don't mind them getting closer, but بالبداية, yeah, I'm gonna get jealous.
And then say it, and then you become healthy. Goes, guys, I'm jealous.
I do. You know what, Anna? That's the thing. I think jealousy is a very normal thing. But because I normalize it and I vocalize it, I'm like ترى أنا احتريت.
Yeah. Also, بالعربي عندنا غبطة. Like we have expressions مو موجودة بالإنجليزي, which is like, yeah, I'm jealous, and that's cool.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Low-key gatekeeping your main bestie from your other friends.
I'm trying to think honestly if I've ever done that. No. Rot.
Rot?
Yeah.
You're so healthy.
I'm really not. I'm really not.
قصين علي.
No, I'm just like, no, I think I don't care about people enough. I think I'm معوضة with unhealthiness, and you know,
Yeah.
تعرفين هذا اللي is like, I don't hurt people, I hurt me, you know. Also, people don't hurt me, I hurt me.
I hurt me.
Hey,
Nobody's gonna hurt me. I'm gonna hurt myself.
شنو? What's your toxic trait? عزة نفس. Yeah. Feeling betrayed if you're left out of a plan after introducing everyone.
Of course, rot.
صراحة.
That's حيل rot.
صراحة والله.
That's rude.
مو حلوة.
لا كلش مو حلوة.
مو حلوة، ما لها
Unless
شغل.
I'm the problem ومسوية مشاكل.
And like, you're introducing your friends to your friends. أول ما تشوفهم تقول, you guys see this? Am I crazy? And they're like, no, come refuge. They don't tell you that.
That be sad. Like when you introduce friends to each other. Well, that hasn't happened to me, but like all the friends agree that the mediator is insane and they're crazy, and they're like, we don't want her, but we like you. Can we keep you and get rid of her?
Oh my God, I'm just thinking, this is how my other group of friends is formed. I'm friends with a person who brought in a friend who's also a victim of the same person that he was a victim of. And then a third victim joined out of nowhere.
Oh,
So that's how, actually, we're very close.
that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be hot or rot, but for
Yeah.
rot.
يعتمد where you are. I mean, if you're, but you're not, I don't think in this scenario.
Okay. Soft blocking a mutual because they switched sides.
Daffy. Warm.
Warm. You're torn.
Lukewarm. Tepid. Because I feel like I would.
Really?
I can't remember هذا, but I feel like I would.
So hot and own it.
Again?
A lot of
يلا
people go for
هريجة.
it.
هريجة.
Commit.
هريجة يلا.
هريجة.
يلا يلا.
Burn it all. Burn the bridge. Fuck 'em.
Okay. Warning a friend about someone you introduced them to because you're feeling iced out.
I
You did that?
I will admit
Okay.
I have my toxic moments.
Hey.
Maybe I have done that, but because because I feel iced out and I felt like that friend that I introduced them to is disrespecting me. So not necessarily warning, but I would say communicating that I'm upset about this behavior.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
feel
not
like
really warning.
I feel like that's fine.
Yeah.
I feel
Okay,
like
then
that's fine.
rot.
Yeah.
Rot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Adi.
All right.
Yeah.
Pretending you're unbothered when you're absolutely spiraling inside.
Hot. So hot.
So hot.
So hot.
من داخل.
القميص صح. ساعد الفرق. أنا
I'm fine.
أنا مضايقة.
I'm okay.
أنا مضايقة. أنت مضايقة.
I like that. That's hot.
Yeah.
It's very hot.
Yeah. Okay. Keeping score of who invites who first. عشت أعطيني.
No. Well, it depends.
On.
I mean, look, I'm constantly initiating and you're just like a passenger in this friendship. No, خلاص يعني. You know what I mean?
I did that recently.
What?
I didn't realize that I was being a mother.
Mm.
So I just thought as an experiment, and then for the next 2-3 weeks, I won't initiate something.
Yeah.
And we haven't spoken in a year.
See?
Mm.
So I'm going to say hot, honestly.
أنا بعد.
Yeah. يعني I think ساعات you have to شوية pick up on these little...
صراحة يب هذه.
Yeah.
أنت بنزين؟
ها؟
بنزين.
بنزين شنو؟
Dumb joke. Sorry. Really dumb joke. So bad. I'm so sorry. والله جد أنا آسفة.
يمكن أنا الغبية اللي ما فهمت.
لا أنت تمام. Why was I looking for...
I'm like,
Why was I looking for
بنزين.
بنزين? بنحرق. عرفت? This is way too slow. don't worry. وايد زين. وايد زين.
وصلت.
عادي. Okay.
Okay.
Celebrating when a friend merge flops without you. Just a little.
Rot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That ever happened to you?
No. Sean?
Did you ever think a merger was going to happen and it didn't?
Yeah, 100%. When that didn't happen, يعني obviously تزعلين.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I was hoping that you would get along at least يعني for a little bit. إنه مو لازم تصيرون besties, but at least like, you know, you like each other. تكونون تمام.
Yeah. That happened my bad. مو حلوة.
Yeah. Secretly feeling like the glue between your friends.
I don't have that anymore. I used to. I didn't like it. So I decided not to play that role. Hey. But in my other group of friends, there's a friend who is the glue. So that's our joke about him. But I carry by being a bit of a mom only at restaurants. ما يطلبون إلا لما أوصل. I'm the one that makes the order for the group.
Yeah.
So في مرة قعدوا بمطعم for like half an hour. مو ماكلين.
ناطرين
أطلب. Which I'm fine with because I don't want him to be the glue all the time.
But isn't that a lot of pressure on you?
I'm only taking on this pressure because he takes on the pressure of other things. And then another person also does a lot of work for like big events like parties.
Okay.
Usually, which is honestly a chore. I have to أحسب الديناميك كامل. And I'm willing to take on a bigger role if someone is being a glue.
I love that. That's very balanced.
I'm trying really hard. Like I'm trying really hard with life, Zainab.
You're like, I'm trying really hard.
This is such hard work. This is so difficult. Being
all right, last one.
يلا أنا ولا أنت؟
أنت.
Unfollowing someone after a friend fallout, even if they didn't do anything. يعني إن a friend of a friend and you unfollow them because you had a friend fallout. ما فهمت.
ما فهمت ولا أنا شنو unfollowing someone
مثلا
after a friend fallout even if they didn't do anything. Oh, that we had a fallout and then I'm unfollowing the friend?
Maybe. أو إن you have a friend and then they had a falling out with their friend, so you unfollow them. So you unfollow that other friend?
I don't know. Either way, I think it's rot. I think it's childish.
Yeah.
صراحة. And like if you had a fallout with someone, like you expect to unfollow. I don't know.
Do you ever have a friend who dates a lot of people and they think they're the love of their life? Like they're the love of their life, like maybe like 6 times a year? So they
Like,
introduce
oh,
you to
every
all
time
of
they
them.
meet someone, they're like, "This is the love of my life."
Yeah. So they introduce you to them because you're the friend, and then you follow each other on social media, and then they break up. So you have like 6 exes every year from
Yeah,
your
but
friend.
look, I would unfollow. Like if they're just my friend's ex, that I would unfollow. ما
Do you know what
تحسين؟
I do?
What?
كذي يعني أشوف I scroll بعدين يطلع لي this person who's now the ex. Okay. That's it. That's all I do.
And you just keep
I
scrolling.
just keep scrolling.
You don't mute?
ما يعني حتى ما بفكر بالموضوع. يعني تو الحين طلع بالي.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting, but I don't like when friends are like, "Oh, I had a falling out with this person, so you have to unfollow them.
لازم.
Why are you still following them?"
لازم. I don't do ultimatums.
Ultimatos. We don't like them.
Anyone who gives me an ultimatum, طماط.
Yeah. Also, I don't like ultimatums in general. I feel like they're lose-lose.
أنا لا, any friend that gives me an ultimatum, يعني I'm drawing like a very thin line in the sand between us because like that's not okay at all.
Yeah. I think ultimatums are the worst thing to give someone in a relationship because it's like يعني it's manipulative in a way where it's like you're either gonna do اللي أنا أبيه or I'm leaving or I'm doing whatever. خلاص,
Don't hold your friendship hostage because you're diminishing the value of your friendship and you will be very shocked at how I'm willing to let it go.
Exactly.
Don't do that.
Exactly. Don't do that.
Yeah.
حتى in relationships it's like خلاص إذا أنت you have to reach that point where you have to give the person an ultimatum, then I don't think this is working out.
كلش.
This shouldn't be a resort أصلا حتى not even a last resort. You
don't
know what
negotiate
I mean?
with social terrorists.
Yeah, it is social terrorism, honestly. Anyways, that's all the time, unfortunately, that we have for this episode.
Are you tired, Tabte?
No, I want to keep going.
Me too. This is fun. This is fun.
This
Next
is so
time I'll
much
just
fun.
like pop up.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zouz.
Thank you for having me, and I hope this was fun for everyone.
Including me.
Yes.
Including Mia,
especially
wherever she is.
Tuna!
Did you find the tuna, Mia? I hope you didn't find any other friends. You better not replace me. But again, thank you, Zouz, for helping me out with this episode. This was such a great talk. And if you guys liked this episode,
like, comment, subscribe, leave a 5-star review, share, be generous, be grateful, be kind.
Always be kind. I love that.
I love you.
I love you too. Oh, this is actually a love confession. This wasn't an episode for you guys.
Zainab and I are friends.
We're friends. We're going to hold hands and skip down the hall. My hands are clammy.
I'm clammy, Heidi.
No, your hands are cold. All right, you guys, that's all the time we have for today's episode, and we will see you next Wednesday. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.